This is my first time ever being here in the city of Chicago. I am amazed by your great city, your wonderful city, and now I can feel a little bit why so many Serbs were choosing Chicago as the place where they would like to live. And what is really interesting is that in spite of a huge geographical distance between two sister cities, the city of Belgrade and the city of Chicago, many Serbs have preserved their identity living here. So it means that they have found a good place for living, but that it hasn't been changing some of their native traditions and good living habits. Today, here I am as the foreign minister of my country, the Republic of Serbia, the country which is for the second year the fastest growing European economy, the country which is the third year, for 3 years, for the last 3 years, #1 worldwide in attraction of foreign direct investments per capita, the country which is having one of the most stable public debts in Europe, strictly under control, which wasn't tackled by the COVID-19, the country which has undertaken some 8 years ago some of the toughest fiscal consolidation reforms in all the Europe, and the result is obvious. We are, as I said, the #1 in attracting foreign FDIs. We are #1 in Europe by the growth of our GDP. Last year we have ended with a growth of plus 7.7%, and with a public debt which is 57% to GDP ratio. Knowing at this very moment that you have, I don't know, France, which is of about 117% to GDP ratio, Italy, it's almost 150%, and knowing that Serbia is going very, very well. What are also the keys of these successes of my country? We have undertaken many reforms. One of the most important reforms next to these on fiscal consolidation are the reforms in education sector. We are the first European country which has introduced informatics as the mandatory subject in our elementary schools. It has happened some 5 years ago, so last year we've got the first generation of youngsters graduated from elementary schools with the best informatic knowledge in our part of Europe. We are having one of the best Eastern European universities, the University of Belgrade, which is together with the Praha University from Czechia, the best ranked from our part of Europe on the world's University Shanghai list. And we are having extremely good conditions for developing business in different sectors, but especially in IT sector. During the recent 5 years, we are having the annual growth of IT industry of about 27%. And it's not diminishing. It's keeping this good tendency of growth. I would like to give you, and it's going to be very significant for Michael, only one example. Some 8 years ago, German entrepreneurs, German companies were investing in Serbia, and 8 years ago they've been employing only 17.2 thousand employees, mostly in manufacturing. Today, and it is the figure from the late November last year, they're employing some 74,000 employees, and during the recent 5 years they are mostly opening R&D centers in Serbia, some of the best German, especially automotive companies. It is the sign that investing in Serbia is going to be very sustainable, very secure, and the people investing in my country are going to earn, and they are already earning, a lot of money. We are having also extremely good subsidy measures, especially in tax policies. And just a few hours ago, 2 hours ago, I've been meeting people from one very good company here from Chicago, and they've been asking me about tax measures. We have informed them by giving some of the leaflets on this, but we have concluded that there is something extremely important for all of you to get known. What is actually making Serbia such a good place for investments? First of all, on a political side, you need to know that we are a candidate state to enter European Union. But at this very moment, we are not having many administrative overweighting measures which are mostly not so attractive for American investors to come to Europe in EU member states. So we are preparing our system, we are preparing our state to enter European Union, but still we are not having all these obstacles. And that's what's attracting so many people to come to Serbia and to invest their capital. If we are talking about the states as a destination from which investors are coming to Serbia, I would like to inform you that we are having during the recent years Microsoft, NCR as one of the biggest American investors in Serbia, which is now employing some 7,000 people in my country, and that their contribution to our development is really high. Amazon has also recently opened its premises in Belgrade, and I'm very sure that it's going to be a kind of a regional hub, a regional center for this well-known company. What else I would like to tell you before getting your questions and trying to answer on them? We are having a really good geographical position. We are a kind of a crossroads between Central and Western Europe with Asia Minor and Southeastern Europe. My country is investing a lot, especially in transportation infrastructure. At this very moment, we are having 10 completely new highways under construction. So within 3 or 4 years, the Republic of Serbia is going to be a completely different place for living. We are also investing a lot in renewable energy. We are investing a lot in clear transportation, such as railroads. And I'm sure that within coming years, maybe year or two, we are going to establish the direct airlines between Chicago and Belgrade, which is going to be very important for all the business community of Chicago, as well as for all of my compatriots living here in this beautiful city. You need to know, and that's something what I'm knowing from my personal experience, because before being appointed as a Foreign Affairs Minister of Serbia, I've been serving for 3.5 years as a Chief of Presidential Administration of our President, that the personal devotion of all highly appointed officials of Serbia towards all the people coming from business society from abroad willing to invest in Serbia is something completely unique in our region of Europe. Each investor who was interested to invest in my country was received by the President or Prime Minister. We've also made a kind of a system which preserved all the investments from corruption. How we have succeeded doing that? There is the only one entry point for all the investors willing to invest in Serbia. That's the Development Agency of Serbia. Each investor willing to invest in Serbia is getting his own task officer. And that one is in charge of communicating with all the state or local institutions. So the investor is not the one who is going to go from one to other directorate, ministry, or some other state or local institution. So he's getting his own task officer, and that one is in charge of serving that very investor. And that's actually how we have succeeded to keep more than 90% of people interested to come to Serbia. There are a few also of competitive advantages. Very interested for people willing to invest in my country. One of them is that we are having free trade agreements and free trade arrangements with different parts of the world. So that's European Union, United States, but also all the countries from the former Soviet Union, the Republic of Turkey, and at this very moment we are also negotiating some more FTAs. Also, we are having one of the cheapest electricity price in Europe, which is very, very important for all the investors.